Celtic Myths and Legends by T.W. Rolleston. Chapter 5 Tales of the Ultonian Cycle. The Recovery of the Tain. The history of the Tain, or cattle raid, of Quaugany was traditionally supposed to have been written by no other than Fergus MacRoy, but for a long time the great saga was lost. It was believed to have been written in Ogham characters. Now, I'm told that it's really pronounced as Ohm. And when we comment on this little section at the end, the dictionary, or glossary as you would say it, perhaps things will come up that didn't even come up in the book, and it will correct. Consider the errata section. On staves of wood, which a bard who possessed them had taken with him into Italy, where they never returned. Perfect thing to end up in the Vatican, right? The recovery of the Tain was the subject of a number of legends, which Sir S. Ferguson, in his Lays of the Western Gaul, has combined in a poem of so much power, so much insight into the spirit of Gallic myth, that I venture to reproduce much of it here in telling this singular and beautiful story. It is said that after the loss of the Tain, Sanchan Torpest, chief bard of Ireland, was once taunted at a feast by High King Guari on his inability to recite the most famous and splendid of Gallic poems. This touched the bard to the quick. The quick is the fingernail, the part past the part that you can cut on the fingernail. Is that the quick? And he resolved to recover the lost treasure, far and wide, through Eric and through Alba. Through Erin and through Alba. He searched for traces of the lay, but could only recover scattered fragments. He would have conjured up, by magic arts, the spirit of Fergus to teach it to him, even at the cost of his own life, for such, it seems, would have been the price demanded for the intervention and help of the dead. Well, certainly if the church catches you, or, well, back in the day. But the place of Fergus's grave, where the spells must have been said, could not be discovered. At last, Sancan set his son Morgan, with his brother Maimena, to journey to Italy and endeavor to discover there the fate of the staff book. The brothers set off on their journey. Eastward, breathwise, over Erin and straightway travelled forth, the twain, till with many days wayfaring, Morgan fainted by Loch Ain. Dear my brother, thou art weary, for I present aid and flown. Thou for my returning tarry here beside the standing stone. Shone the sunset red and solemn, Morgan where he leant, observed, down the corners of the column, letter strokes of carved. 'Tis belike a burial pillar, said he, and these shadowed lines hold some warrior's name of valor. Could I rightly spell the signs? Letter then, by letter tracing, soft he breathed the sound of each, sound and sound, and then interlacing, lo, the signs took form of speech, and with joy and wonder many, thrilling part, athrill with fear, Morgan read the legend plainly, Fergus, son of Roy, is here. Morgan then, though he knew the penalty, appealed to Fergus to pity a son's distress, and vowed for the sake of the recovery of the Tain to give his life, and abandon kin and friends, and the maiden he loves, so that his father might no more be shamed. But Fergus gave no sign, and Mergen tried another plea. Now, people will criticize the demons, and perhaps they should, but the sort of person that comes there, I've literally got messages to people asking if they need to kill their family. I am not kidding. And I'm like, it's not necessary. Whatever powers you, whatever spiritual connections, the first thing that you think you need to do is kill someone. So I may have ended up talking people out of some things, which is, so the person, you might want to wait. If you're that type of person that's going to do all the conjuring and all that, you might want to wait before you start going to extremisms and detrimental things and say, oh, this is what I offer, this is what I offer. Because often one will find case of that it could be very simple. All the demons want to, if you're worshiping other than God, that's often enough for these things. But anyways, still he stirs not. Love of women thou regardest not. Fergus now, love of children. Instincts human. Care for these, no more hast thou. Wider comprehension, deeper insights to the dead belong. Sense for love, thou wakest not, sleeper, yet awake, for sake of song. Thou the first in rhythmic cadence, dressing life's discordant tale, wars of chiefs and loves of maidens, gavest the poem to the Gael. Now they've lost their noblest measure, and in dark days, hard at hand, song shall be the only treasure left them in their native land. Fergus rose, a mist ascended with him, and a flash was seen, as of brazen sandals blended with a mantle's wafter green. But so thick the cloud closed o'er him, Imena returned at last, found not on the field before him, but a mist heap grey and vast, thrice to pierce the horror recesses, faithful Imena essayed, thrice through foggy wildernesses, back to open air he strayed, till a deep voice through the vapors filled the twilight far and near, and the night her starry tapers kindling stooped from heaven to hear. Seemed as though the ski-y shepherd back to earth had cast the fleece, envying gods of old, caught upwards from the darkening shrines of Greece. So the white mist curled and glistened, so from heaven's expanses bare, stars enlarging, leaned and listened down the empty depths of air. All night long, by mists surrounded, Mergen lay in vapory bars. All night long the deep voice sounded, 'neath the keen, enlarging stars. But when the orient verges, stars grew dim and mist retired, raising by the stone of Fergus, Mergen stood, a man inspired. Back to Sencun, Father, hasten, ere the hour of power be past. Ask not how, obtain, but listen, to the lost lay found at last. Yea, these words have tramp of heroes in them, and the marching rhyme rolls the voice of the eras down the echoing steeps of time. Not till all was thrice related, thrice recital full essayed, sad and shameful, worn and faded, Mergen sought the faithful maid. Ah, so haggard, ah, so altered, thou in life and love so strong, dearly purchased, Mergen faltered, life and love I've sold for song. Woe is me, the losing bargain, what can song the dead avail? Fame immortal, murmured Mergen, long as lay, delights the gal. Fame, alas, the price thou chargest, not repays when virgin tear, yet the proud revenge I've purchased for my sire I deem not dear. So again to Gort the splendid, when the drinking boards were spread, Sanchan, as of old, attended, came and sat at table head. Bear the cup to Sanchan torpest, twin gold goblets, barred, are thine, if with voice and string thou harpest, Tain, bow, Coelgni, line for line. Yes, with voice and string all chanted, Mergen to his father's knee, set the harp, no prelude wanted, Sanchan struck the master key. And as burst the brimful river, all at once, from caves of Kong, forth at once, and once forever, leaped the torrent of the song. Floating on a brimful torrent, men go down and banks go by, caught adown the lyric current, Guari captured ear and eye, heard no more the courtiers jesting, the courtiers jeering, saw no more the walls of Gort, Creve rose meads, instead appearing, and Amania's royal fort. Vision chasing, splendid vision, Sanchan rolled the rhythmic scene. They that mocked in lewd derision now at gaze with wondering mien. Sate, and as the glorying master awayed the tightening reins of song, felt emotions pulses faster, fancies faster, bound along. Pity dawned on savage faces, when for love of captive croon, Maca, in the ransom races, girt her gravid loins to run. Gainst the fleet Ultonian horses, and when Deirdre on the road headlong dashed her mid the courses brimming, eyelids overflowed. Light of manhood's generous ardor under brows relaxing shone, when mid-ford on the Lad's border young Cuchulainn stood alone, Mav and all her host withstanding, now for love of knightly play. Yield the youth his soul's demanding, let the host their marching stay, till the death he craves be given, and upon his burial stone champion praises duly graven, make his name and glory known. For in speech containing token, age to ages never gave, salutation better spoken, than behold a hero's grave. What another, and still our combat calls, all the lot on thee, his brother, sworn in arms, Ferdia falls. And the hall, with wild applauses, sobbed like woman ere they wist, when the champions, in the pauses of the deadly combat kissed. For the love of land and cattle, while Cuchulainn in the ford stays, the marches of Connacht's battle, of Connacht's battle, ride and rouse the northern lords, swift as angry eagles wind, swift as angry eagles wing, them towards the plundered Eyries call, thronging from Dun Dielga, bring them from the Red Branch Hall. Creve rose. Heard ye not the tramp of armies? Hark, amid the sudden gloom, 'twas the stroke of Connell's war mace sounded through the startled room. And when still the hall grew darker, king and courtier, chilled with dread, heard the rattling of the war car of Cuchulainn overhead. Half in wonder, half in terror, loth to stay and loth to fly, seemed to each but glamoured hearer, shades of kings went thronging by. But the troubled joy of wonder merged at last in mastering fear, as they heard through pealing thunder, Fergus, son of Roy, is here. Brazen sandaled, vapor shrouded, moving in an icy blast, through the doorway, terror crowded, up the tables, Fergus passed. Stay thy hand, O harper, pardon, seize the wild, unearthly lay. Mergen, bear thy sire his guerdon. Mergen set a shape of clay. Bear him on, his bier beside me. Nevermore in halls of Gort shall a niggard king deride me. Slaves of Suncun make their sport. Because the maiden's yearnings needs must also be condoled, hers shall be the dear bought earrings, hers the twin bright cups of gold. Cups, she cried, of bitter drinking, fling them far as arm can throw. Let them in the ocean sinking, out of sight and memory go. Let the joinings of the rhythm, let the links of sense and sound of the Tain bow perish with them, lost as though they'd ne'er be found. So it comes, the lay recovered, once at such a deadly cost, ere one full recital suffered, once again is all but lost. For the maiden's malediction still, with many a blemish stain, clings in coarser garb of fiction round the fragments that remain. And some people may not know one term, well, I guess more than one term, but niggard is stingy. It has nothing to do with what it might sound like to people.